What's up, guys? The MMA Casual here, and today I'm going back to a series I wanted to start a while ago. It's something I do very often on my actual Instagram, but I want to move it to YouTube. As you know, I'm trying to do more on YouTube. It's trivia, UFC trivia. And it's kind of easy. I'm going to say most individuals, fans will get these questions right, but a lot of the casuals won't. And as we go on, and as the more you tell me if you like it, what topics you want me to cover, if there's any specific categories, if you want it harder, if you want it a little easier, that's how I'm going to gauge the questions. But this is basically pretty straightforward. It's UFC current champion trivia. That's really what it is. And I want to know what you think. So leave comments below. Let me know how you did. It's 1 point for each one, 10 questions, a bonus question at the end. And after this, I'm going to be recording my picks for Benoit Saint Denis versus Renato Moicano in UFC Paris. So sounds good to me. Sounds good to you. Let's get to it. So UFC champion trivia, and everything's going to be on this little BS PowerPoint I've presented for you. How many losses does Ilia Topuria have on his record? And I'm going to give you a few seconds on each question to think about it. I mean, die-hard fans know the answer to this one. Topuria fans know the answer to this one. I don't think it takes much. If you don't know it, you don't know it. Answer to question number one, guys, is 0. Ilia Topuria is 15-0. Not all fights in the UFC, obviously, but 15-0. And he has an upcoming match against Max Holloway. I can't wait to break that one down for you guys. Next up, question 2. Which current UFC champion has 9 losses? And 9 losses stood out to me because 9 losses seems like quite the veteran. There's quite a few veterans as champion, but who has 9 losses? And you got to really think about this one. And guys, so you know, I am not including the BMF title in this video at all. I am not including the BMF title. So the answer to this one, if you didn't know, I'm sure you broke down each champion, thought about who's who has wins, who has losses, how many of those. Raquel Pennington. Some would say probably the worst champion we currently have. Hey, nor here nor there. I'm not going to, talk bad about a fighter on here, but Raquel Pennington, 9 losses, 16 wins, I believe. How many current UFC champions were born in the US? And this one is going to actually take a little bit of brain power. This is going to test your knowledge on the current champions. This is question number 3. How many current UFC champions were born in the US of A? Think about it. Again, not necessarily reciting here, not necessarily always representing the country, but born in the US. Less for the casuals here. I got to be honest. You got to be kind of a fan or know about these guys personally, which is a little tougher. So let's go. I'll give you the answer, but let me scroll. It's actually 2 champions, Bilal Muhammad and John Jones. John Jones being born in New York and Bilal Muhammad being born in Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, to be specific. So 2 current champions are from the United States of America. All other current champions. Oh my God, I might have messed up. Oh my God. I completely forgot to count Raquel Pennington here. It's 3 champions. Oh my God. I can't believe it. I made a YouTube video. Oh my God. It's 3. I apologize. I'm still going to upload this. I'm not going to restart and change all the slides. She was born in Colorado. Oh my God. I suck. Leave the video. I don't deserve you. But if you stay, let me know what you think. What current champion has the most UFC finishes? Keyword finishes, UFC finishes. UFC finishes. Finishes within the UFC organization. So, guys, don't think of their whole MMA record, just inside the UFC. And now when we think about that, you're thinking about a veteran, someone who's been in the UFC for a long time, because we have some fighters who've, have many MMA fights outside of the UFC. But who is it? John Jones. Pretty obvious answer. I think most of you should have gotten that. 5 knockouts / TKOs, 6 submission wins. So 11 total. John Jones. Next up, which current UFC champion has the most submission wins? And you just saw John Jones had 6. So now you're like, who in the world has more submission wins than John Jones? And you're puzzled. And you really got to think about it. And you know what? I like to think that if I was answering this question before I did, the research and put this together, I think I would have said John Jones, But if you're a real UFC fan, you could break it down and you could get this. But the most submission wins within the UFC. Again, guys, the answer in 3, 2, 1. Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev, and he actually has 1 more than John Jones. It's 7. He has 7. Next question. Which UFC champion has the least amount of UFC fights? So basically, who was the quickest to get to the championship belt and is currently sitting there? And actually, that's not a good question because the quickest to get to a championship belt, I think, was Alex Pereira. But that's not the answer. So I just X that out for you. But which UFC champion up to this day, regardless of defenses, has the least amount of fights in the UFC? 3, 2, 1. Ilia Topuria, 7 fights. That means it took him 6 fights to get to the belt, and beating Volk was the 7th. Crazy. Absolute madness. Absolute madness. Next question. Which current UFC champion has the nickname Still Knocks? This should be an easy one. Break down the nicknames. Who has what? When you go down the list, female and male fighters. Still Knocks. Maybe one you haven't really heard. This is not one that's very common that's said, really. You know, some nicknames really carry. Bronx, Poetan, you know, the Highlight, people like that, the Notorious. They get called that often. I feel like this fighter is just it's almost hidden. But guys, it's Dricus du Plessis, the middleweight champion. And if you didn't know that, well, let me know that below. Next up, which current UFC champion has the record for most takedowns attempted in a fight? This should be easy, very straightforward. If you're a real fan, you know this stat. It's a crazy one. If you saw the fight, you're like, what is wrong with that guy? What is he on? I'm going to give you 5 seconds. 2, 1. Guys, Merab Dvalishvili. 54 attempted takedowns against Piotr Jan. And it was a boring fight, pretty much. But if you appreciate the cardio and takedown on this guy, I mean, you appreciate the fight. Next question. Who is the UFC's only current interim champion? Straightforward, easy. I'm not getting harder as I progress here. I'm just random facts, random questions that came to my mind. That's a reality. That's what I did. But who is the UFC's only current interim champion? Guys, heavyweight. John Jones is our champion, but the interim champion is Tom Aspinall. And you should have known that. That this is for casuals, fanatics, whatever it may be. But that's an easy, straightforward one. Next up, how many current champions have won a belt in multiple divisions? Tough. Not fought for it. Have won. Very important. Have held the title in 2 different divisions. How many? And if you can name them, hey, bonus for you. And if you could count how many, you should be able to know who it is. But guys, in 3, 2, 1, 2 champions. John Jones, which is light heavyweight and heavyweight, and then Alex Pereira, middleweight, and now light heavyweight, 2. And both are currently champions, obviously. Last but not least, the bonus question. A little bit of fun for you. If you didn't know it, if you don't remember the name, please do so now. Who gave John Jones his only loss? And if we're going to be specific, it was a DQ loss because of 12-6 elbows that John Jones was raining down on this poor man. But this is the only man to be able to technically say he beat John Jones. And the record shows that. A lot of people think, Dominic Reyes won. But this guy actually has it on the win column. Guys, Matt Hamill. If you didn't know that, well, now you know. Memorize that name. He's the GOAT. He's the real GOAT, if you ask me. Just kidding, of course. Guys, be sure to subscribe. I know this was a little bit of a messy video. I'm trying to put out as much content as possible once a week, plus my Instagram and TikTok and a lot going on. But my predictions are coming up. If you enjoyed this, let me know below. And better yet, let me know what you want to see from my account. Let me know what type of trivia. Let me know if you like my prediction videos, if you like my recap videos, if you want my reaction videos, whatever you want to see, please let me know below. Let me know how you did as well. Be sure to subscribe. I'm the MMA Casual. Have a good one.